Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take a look at the Stamina Dragonknight PvE build video for Horns of the Reach. You will find most of the information on my website. I will put the link into the description. I want to focus more on the rotation and combat metrics, parse, etc. So just quickly look at our stats. Pretty nice stats. We are using the Shadow Mundus Stone. I am currently a Kashyyyk. Now, what race should you be? Basically Kashyyyk gives you the most crit, right? But the difference between a Kashyyyk and a Red Guard is maybe 1%. Some people even say it's like 0.16%, so it really doesn't matter. You also can be an Imperial if you want more health. Because the only benefit the Red Guard gives you is more sustain. If you already have enough sustain, Imperial might be even better because you will have way more health. Or a Kashyyyk for the crit. Orc also works great because you do a lot of heavy attacks, boosts them. Like here the orcs have really nice stats, actually really good passives. Gear. Now this here is the case when you're the only stamina setup. I'm using 5 2-fanged. You also could run Spriggan if you don't have access to this set. It's basically the same. Then 5-piece Hunting's Rage with 2 weapons. Now here I'm running an Infused Poison enchant front bar and a Precise dagger with a weapon damage enchant on the offhand. Like this is the main hand, this is the offhand. You want to have the Infused Poison enchant on the main hand. And the Infused Maelstrom Bow. Now here, you can run an Infused, Precise or Nirnhound. The damage difference is basically 0. I just had slightly better results with Infused, but really, don't grind yourself off, it's not worth it. Like it's barely any difference. Then, why do I have 2 daggers? I just feel like 2 daggers give me more benefit now that we use the Shadow Mundus Stone, but if you want you could also run 1 dagger and 1 axe because of the bleeding. That's up to you. Monster set, I'm running 2 Mephala currently. Now Mephalas and Velidref damage wise on single target more or less the same, however at the moment I prefer Mephala because it gives me slightly more AoE damage. Because it's over 10 seconds, a 4-meter radius. It's really nice. But if you want, you can run Velidref. If you want, you also could run like 1-piece Krog and 1-piece Slimecraw. Because this one gives you 1500 penetration and this here gives you 5% crit. They changed this in Horns of the Reach, this set, so it's actually really strong. If you don't want the RNG with the proc set, it's up to you. Like again, barely any difference. So there is a shit ton of options available this patch. Like there's so many good combos. Same for this stuff. If you're more stamina setups, one dude can wear Thunderflame, another dude can wear Night Mother's Gaze, another dude can wear Morak Tongue. It's just this setup here is the best if you're the only stamina setup. Okay, let's move on. Champion points really quickly. Not really a lot changed. Basically only here, like 66, 66. Those are very good together now. Especially because we have so high weapon crit with the Shadow Mundus. 39 to piercing. In the end, you need to know how much penetration you have. I always recommend getting to like 15, 14k self-buffed penetration. Because in a raid, you are like in a dungeon or a trial, you have a tank applying Crusher on an infused weapon is another like 2k, and then maybe you have Alcast gives you another 3k. But keep in mind, not all those buffs are up 100%, and then 49 Mighty. If you need to put more points here, take them out of Mighty, because it's actually the least important. Those 2 are more important at the moment. Everything else more or less stays the same for Stamina Dragonknights. The only thing I changed here was Ironclad and Spell Shield. I put a few points into Spell Shield because most damage in trials is actually magic damage, so I like the extra resistance. As you can see, we are at 18k because we also have some sexy passives. Let me check, where are they? here, yeah. This also gives spell resistance, so it's actually really nice. Skill setup, exactly the same. Like I said, if you feel more comfortable like running the rearming trap on the front bar somewhere, do it. It's just, I prefer this general setup. It's just stuck in my head and that's it. Dawnbreaker on the front bar because it gives you more weapon damage. Standard on the back bar. Now rotation wise, Stamina Dragonknights probably have one of the... It's still quite fast paced, but more simple than others because you really can just do your heavy attack rotation, and the moment your last dot falls off, you're finished with your rotation. So before you engage a fight, you want to activate Deadly Cloak, Flames of Oblivion and Molten Armaments, because you can do that before the fight starts. And then when you engage, well, Potion, you drop Endless Hail, the Rearming Trap, Poison, and Cult drops Weapon Swap. So you see, on the back bar I only light attack between abilities. On the front bar I use heavy attack, Noxious, heavy attack, Venomous, heavy attack, Rending Slashes. Then heavy attack, Deadly Cloak, Weapon Swap, restart. And then I usually start with the Rearming Trap, Endless, and so on. Now, if Flames of Oblivion runs out, what they do is, instead of a heavy attack ability, I just do Flames of Oblivion light attack ability. Okay, I basically replace the heavy attack with Flames of Oblivion plus a light attack, so we don't lose any more uptime on other dots. Now let me just show you on the target dummy. Like I said, at the moment we have about like 14k penetration, something like that. Noxious Breath gives us Major Fracture, so that's 5.3k from this here, 5k from the Two-Fanged Snake once it's on max capacity, and another 3.3k from Piercing, because we don't use any sharpened weapons anymore, just as a heads up. And like I said, you need to feel comfortable with your penetration level. So again, if you have more penetration on the skeleton, you will get more DPS, don't forget that. Now you have seen our sustain was really nice. Heavy attacks 540 stamina per second, base regen 504. So here now no problem, like we almost were full stamina all the time more or less, because we do like 4 heavy attacks on the front bar, which is really nice for sustain. Now, like I said, if you have sustain issues, run a red guard. It's really simple. But yeah, this should be fine. Now let's just analyze the parse. First off, check the debuffs. We had the Mephala uptime 85%, that's actually really nice. Then the Noxious Breath was like the fracture 79%. A little bit low, but doesn't really matter, because in a raid tank usually applies it, so it should be 100%. Other than that there isn't really... Oh, maybe the Hawkeye passive. What is the Hawkeye passive? This is a very important one. What does it do? Like for each light attack you do, you can do 5% more damage on bow abilities, and it stacks up to 5 times. So that's why you want to make sure to do as much light attacks on your bow bar as possible. Now, like you see, Endless Hail does really nice damage with the Maelstrom bow, so you want to make sure to keep that one. Then we have the cult drops, so our 2 strongest abilities are both physical damage and AoE, damage over time effects. Venomous Claw, then we have heavy attacks, 2 offhand and main hand. Oh yeah, maybe about the offhand enchantment, you see we had a 55% uptime. I'm still not sure, like I'm on the PTS currently, I'm not sure if they will change that, because the offhand, like when we only do heavy attacks, both enchantments proc at the same rate. But our abilities like Deadly Cloak, Rending Slashes, Endless Hail and Poison Injection, so like the weapon abilities also proc enchantments. But the weapon abilities only seem mostly to proc the main hand and not the offhand. So I'm not sure if that's really working as intended, but we will find out soon. If they changed it, we might swap this to an Infused Disease, so we can get another like 2.5k from enchantment, which would be nice. Then we have some other skills. Now Mephala is here, and a lot of other stuff. So you see we have like 36k stam, 3.5k weapon damage average, 75% weapon crit in average, because when we are like on the front bar we are at 79, and when we go to the bow bar we drop to 65. That's why the average is a little bit lower. Overall critical hits 65%, so that was way lower than we actually should have. So it's kind of, well, it depends, because I almost forgot the Mephala here, it cannot crit, right? So it actually drags down our critical hit. Let me check. Did I use, yeah, here on this parse I didn't use any monster set, like I run the 1 slime craw, 1 crog piece, and you see the moment there is no monster set, our crit rating actually matches up pretty well. So my average crit was 79, and overall in this fight I had 80% crit. So yeah, in the end, like I said, Mephala or like 1 piece crog, 1 piece slime craw doesn't really create a huge difference. Where were we? This, yeah. So yeah, here we had like 1k less, but this also can be because some abilities critted less than others, so there's basically 0 difference whatsoever. Now a lot of you also ask, do we not need Minor Slayer? No, we don't really need it, because we have so many modifiers already, and the more modifiers you stack, the less efficient they become. That's the main issue, right? So it doesn't really matter whether we have them or not. That's it about the combat metrics parse. With the similar setup you should be able to get like similar DPS. Now that's basically it. Again, like I will probably mostly play Stem DK again in Horns of the Reach, because I really like the character and they're really strong. If you have any questions about the setup, please let me know. I will put the combat metrics parse into the like build guide on my website, so you can also go check it out, and I will write down the rotation, etc. Make sure do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.